Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
My name is Dava
wabarakatuh.
Sakilla Meyrizka,
My name is
where I
Dava Sakilla
create
Meyrizka.
material from teaching, learning, and evaluation. So, let's go to the topic. Okay, the first is what's the difference between objective and subjective? Okay, the first is objective. One, objective means making an unbiased balance over observations based on facts which can be verified. Two is objective observations or assessment can be used before arriving at any decisions. Three, objective information can be found in scientific journals, research papers, textbooks, news reporting, or encyclopedias and etc. Four is an objective observation or assessment is made after necessary information is verified. 5 is an objective statement is provable and can be easily measured. And the last is this is a method of stating or storytelling the truth in a systematic manner from all perspectives. Okay, the second is subjective. Subjective means making assumptions, making interpretation based on personal opinions without any verifiable facts. Subjective observations or information should not be used while taking any important decisions. Subjective observations can be found in biographies, blogs, editorials of newspaper, and etc. And then a subjective assessment is made without verifying the necessary information. A subjective statement is relative to the person in concern. Any subjective information is derived from the opinion or interpretation of a character and may depend on personal beliefs. Okay, next is the difference about the difference between norm reference and criterion reference. Norm reference is a type of test that assess the test taker's ability and performance against um, other test takers. It could also include a group of test takers against another group of test takers. This is done to differentiate high and low achievers. The test content covers a broad area of area of topics that the test takers are expected to know, and the difficulty of the content varies. This test must also be administered in a standardized format. Number reference test helps determine the position of the test taker in divided population. Example of norm reference tests included ACE, or ACT. These tests do not have a predetermined curriculum, and the topics on the test vary depending on the panel that sets the test. And the difference between criterion reference is a type of the test that assesses the test taker ability to understand a set curriculum. In the test, a curriculum is set in the beginning of the class, which is then explained by the instructor at the end of the lesson. Uh, the test is used to determine how much did the test taker understand. This test is commonly used to measure the level of understanding of a test taker before and after an instruction is given. It can also be used to determine how good the instructor is at teaching the student, the how good the instructor is at teaching The test must have material that is covered in the class by the instructor. The teacher or the instructor sets the test according to the curriculum that was present. Example of criterion reference tests include the tests that are given in school and college in classes by a teacher. This helps the teacher determine if the student should pass the test. Okay, the next is the difference between aspect of corrections and appropriate. Aspect of correction, actually this is the criteria used to score the test too. If we want to score the test, usually this criteria is used to test the productive skills. To score the productive skills, for the example, if we scored the speaking skills in terms of correctness, it means that it refers to linguistic correctness. For example, speaking, it means that it refers to the correctness of pronunciations, corrections of intonations, the way we pronounce the words and sentence, the way we pronounce the intonations of the way we of voice the sentence segment. Okay, and then the appropriate, it means that the criteria of scoring is determined by the context where we use the skills. For the example, in speaking is like addressing someone. There are some title of addressing, for example, Mr., Mrs., or Miss. We have to score the way to address, not just because we use the type 1 of the title of jersey, Mr., for example, which attach to name like Mr. Santoso. So usually in Indonesian culture, we just refers Mr. as a Bapak Santoso. Actually, there is cultural message reflected in the title of addressing Mr. So we have to score whether our student have already used the word Mr. appropriately by considering the cultural aspect, the context where the language is used. So Mr. should be attached with the second name because the second name refers to the family name. Okay, the less we can I can explain the difference between authentic and artificial. Okay, authentic, it means natural context, so it means we know that we test the language. It means we test for language skills, so the skills are integrated and there is a slight difference between those four skills. And then artificial is means that the test is separate the skills. I mean, the skills which are tests are spread, but the benefit is we have the great care for each skills that we want to the test. Okay, in the last, I wanna say thank you for your attention to watch my video, and I'm sorry if I'm makes a little wrong or something maybe. So, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.